Hey
guys.
everybody. We are so excited to have a very special guest with us. She was recently nominated as one of the 40 under 40 recipients. And so we are super excited to announce that Courtney Paschal is our guest today. With that being said, I am Jess.
I'm Shasta.
And we are the chicks in charge. So we are going to go ahead and bring Courtney on right now. We are super excited to hear everything she has to say, from how she helps keep her team engaged to what she does within her community and how involved she is. So without further ado, I will go ahead and bring her on board. Hey, Courtney, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
So good.
We are so good. How are you doing?
Good. It is a whopping 103 degrees here in Amarillo, Texas, so doing great.
Ugh.
Wow, that's rough.
I thought it was hot here today, and it's only in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yesterday is 105, so we went down a little bit.
Wow. Yeah, that is so hot. So Courtney, first of all, we are so grateful to have you on the show today, and a huge congratulations for being the recipient of 40 under 40. We're so proud of you, and we are so proud to call you a friend.
Yes.
So give the audience that is listening today, give them a little bit of a background on, who are you, where do you come from, and what do you have to offer the automotive industry?
So my name is Courtney Paschal. I have been married to my husband, Brad Paschal, for next month will be 4 years. Some days it feels like forever. Just kidding. And I moved it to Amarillo, Texas in 2008, went to school for interior design, was in there, did that for a few years, and was in a vehicle wreck. And, when that happened in 2013, I was just like, what now? Like, what? Why am I going through this? Came into the dealership and got a vehicle and was offered a job. And I had my dream job on the table, kitchen and bathroom designer. And I was like, this is it. I got this. And God had other things planned. And so I took this job, and I am now here. I've worked my way up. I've worked so hard. I've worked very long hours. But I love it. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that I've done, but I love it. And I'm so happy and grateful for everybody who I've met, and everybody that is in the auto industry. There's so many great people that are in the automotive industry. So many people to look up to too.
Oh, yes.
And I love the fact that anytime I need help or have a question, all I have to do is, I can just get on social media on LinkedIn and I can ask a question, and everybody is right there to answer me. They will email me, they'll text me, they'll say, hey, this is what I did, you might want to try this. Or people will they come out from everywhere just wanting to help. And I love that. It's so amazing.
We have such an amazing family here in the automotive industry. Mm-hmm. I call it the greatest family on earth.
Yeah, it's a tribe for sure, and I'm super blessed to be a part of it. So
I have to know, how did you go from in designing the kitchen and bathroom to running the internet team?
That was my question.
What was that transition?
It was a very weird transition. It was a very hard transition, going from kitchen, baths, windows, siding, soffit fascia, all of that. That's what I knew, and I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it was a Monday through Friday job.
Mm-hmm.
And automotive is not a Monday through Friday job. No. And so I started out as an assistant to the fleet manager. I worked for him for about 1.5 years. Then I worked in the BDC. Then I worked in service BDC. I worked the service drive. Mm-hmm. And I decided very quickly in the service drive that is not what I wanted to do. No, thank you. I did not want to be out there. So moved me back. I became assistant manager to our BDC. And I did that for about 6 years, and I loved it. I loved it. I loved doing the training and helping people, teaching people, all of that. And then in 2020, I got moved up.
It's fulfilling.
That is so awesome.
It's crazy though, right? It's you never know what each day is going to entail, but it's also the only word that you can really use is fulfilling.
Absolutely, 100%. And especially when, the people that started with me move out to the sales floor.
Yep.
And one of the guys actually became the rookie of the year last year.
That's
And
awesome.
so it's really cool to see like the things that I taught them, and the things that they learned from the BDC, they're using it out on the sales floor. And it's so cool. I love hearing that. They'll come out there and they're like, there's people that are older than me, but they'll still come back there and they're like, Mom, I sold a car today. And I'm like, good, I'm so proud of you. That's what I'm like, the dealership mom.
Yep.
I love that.
So I've heard that question asked before. Is it better to have a BDC rep that was a salesperson first, or have a salesperson that was a BDC rep first? So which do you think is more beneficial?
So for us, I think what works here at my dealership is to be BDC first and then sales, because in the BDC, we train you on the vehicles first. We teach you to the CRM, the DMS, all of that you learn back in the BDC.
Mm-hmm.
You learn how to talk on the phone, and then you move out to the sales floor. We've tried it both ways, and where the BDC is at is we are stuck in the very back of the dealership. We have no windows. We don't see the sunlight. So going from walking the lot and seeing the sunlight to going to a room where there's no windows, that's really hard for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so the transition that we did here is come to the BDC first and then move out to sales.
Right.
And I think that I agree with you 100%. I think, and obviously so does Robin. She commented, BDC to sales first, they will create great habits. I think that when I look at it, I look at somebody who will properly utilize call, text, and email as it's supposed to be used. Whereas the other way around, I think that they would be so focused on trying to get everything done on the phone as much as possible, as opposed to focusing on scheduling the appointment. Let's get them here in the store and see what we can do.
Right.
Absolutely. And they get to learn about how to talk over the phone and sell an appointment over the phone. Because that's what people want now.
Right.
So what do you think the trickiest part of your position is?
There's something that I deal with daily and is going to be the lead handling. Oh, you're not doing it correctly. So-and-so gets this many leads. Why do they get this many leads? And that is something that I'm like, we've tried round robin and that did not work for us. It may work for other dealerships and that's wonderful. We just couldn't do it. We've tried the next up. We've tried it. We've tried everything. And we don't have just an internet sales team. So all 27 of my reps get internet leads. And so I would say that's the hardest job, is to figure out who is going to work best with that customer. And so that's what my BDC does. They qualify the customer. Do they need somebody maybe a little bit more aggressive? Do they need somebody who's going to hold their hand? And that's more of my BDC agent's job, is to pre-qualify all the customers and then let me know. And then I will get them with that sales representative.
You have 27 BDC reps, or is
No, I've got 27 sales representatives and I have 7 BDC reps.
Okay. So you were meaning when they assign like the lead to the sales rep, that's when they start fighting over it.
Oh yeah, the salesman, yes.
It's I don't think there's any probably way that you can do it where they will ever see it as fair.
Yeah. And I would say that's my biggest obstacle. That's all that I need. I need notes. I need confirming appointments. I need sales.
So being a BDC rep, that job in particular can be very repetitive. It can get burnout is likely in that role. How do you keep your team engaged and wanting to show up to work every day and wanting to give their 100% day in and day out?
And motivated.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was actually struggling with that and I didn't know what to do. So I spoke with my mentor, Fred Lenartz, and he helped me come up with a solution. So what I did is I printed out hundreds and hundreds of questions, cut them out, and I put it in a bowl. So then every day what we did was we called it the great news. So Fred actually every morning sends me an inspirational quote. So once everybody gets here, then I announce the inspirational quote and I tell them, thank you so much for everything that you guys do. I greatly appreciate you. Does anybody have anything? And that gives everybody in the room talking, yes, everything went great. This is what we struggled with, anything like that. Then everybody has a question and they can either choose to answer it or they can ask somebody. And it could be, anything. Would you rather, find a parking spot or be stuck in the perfect parking spot, or would you rather be stuck in traffic all day? Questions like that. And so that gets them thinking and they get to talking, and it's a great team building exercise. We actually just came up with yesterday something for them to do. So starting next month, they will have to pick teams, and there'll be 2 of them, and they'll have to keep them, each other accountable for their sales. And whichever team has the most sales, they can either choose to get a paid day off, they can choose to get lunch, or they can choose to get a bonus. And so keeping them engaged in all of that and letting them pick what they win, they love that.
That's awesome, and I like that. That's definitely something that you should consider.
I know. I'm like, it's getting my gears turning too. I love being able to change it up. We do a lot of like games to try to keep them engaged and stuff like that. But after a while, even those kind of burn them out, and they're like, okay, what next? Like, kind of tired of the same old thing.
Absolutely. And one question that I asked them all.
Trouble's here.
Oh, trouble is here. One thing that I asked them on Monday is, when you die, what will you be remembered? What do you want to be remembered for? Mm-hmm. And then they were actually like, oh, you do this. Oh, no, you do this. And they were actually complimenting each other. And, and you could see that, it was like, oh, you noticed that. Oh, and by the time they all felt really good about themselves because they noticed that their peers and their coworkers were really noticing things about them.
I think I heard, we sat in Fred and Lou's session at NIADA, and I think I actually might have the notes here on my phone. I might not. Oh, nope, I do. This is what I think is great about you. Was kind of like that. And so you go around the room and talk about each person, and this is what I think is great about you, and this is what I think is great about you, and kind of start that up, and it just gets everybody in such a great mood. And then it's kind of like this volley thing that happens back and forth, and then it's like well, this is what I think is great about you, and then just gets everybody's morale up. And that's like just such a great way to start the day. And I honestly forgot about it until right now when you said that, because conferences and they just get so much in your head. But it's good to know that is so good in action. And we definitely got to start that.
Oh, for sure. I love that.
Absolutely. And at first it's really awkward. It was so awkward at first.
I can imagine.
And but after about a week, then you start to ramp up, and then after another week of doing that, then you kind of start to get bored. So that's when you have to start figuring out other ways to bring that in, because there's only so many days in the week that I can tell you that I like your shoes.
Because you don't want to lie to somebody and be like, I like your shirt, but
right. Well, so I think something else that I wanted to discuss too is, Shasta and I know we also do, we are a BDC, but we also do social media marketing as well. And so we know that dealerships, they struggle sometimes with getting out in the community and knowing where to fit into the community too. And I know that Street Toyota is big in community involvement, but also you personally are very big in your community involvement. What do you think is the best way, if a dealership wanted to get involved in their community, what do you think would be the best start to that?
Oh gosh, there's depending on what size your town is. It could be starting as being a loan executive for United Way. That's how I started out. Maybe go to any leadership classes. But you could always start with your local colleges, maybe high school teams, sponsor if you've got children or nieces or nephews, start sponsoring their games.
Love that.
And
Love that.
that's how you can start getting your name out there. And then it's all word of mouth. So if you're looking to get into community involvement, there's so many things there's so many, like in Amarillo, there's over 300 501(c)(3)s. And so that's what I did was through a leadership class, just start looking. And I started going on my days off, going to all of these places and start asking them questions. Well, what do you do? And it was all about feeling right.
Yeah.
Until, a year ago, I walked into, it's called No Boundaries International, and I just felt like home. And it was truly amazing. We deal with human trafficking. So every Thursday, so tomorrow, I will wake up and that's what I do on my days off. So we usually start at 11 a.m. and I usually don't get home until about 11:30 p.m. at night.
Wow.
So
That's
it's a full day, and everybody knows here, don't bother me on Thursdays because I'm out in the community.
That's super awesome, and I love that you're doing that with your community so much. If somebody was interested in learning more about No Boundaries, where would they find more information?
Yeah, you just go to noboundariesinternational.com, and everything's on there. We're a faith-based nonprofit organization, so we deal with human trafficking. We deal with homeless. I'm around pimps, groomers, prostitutes, and I love every single one of them. We love them all. And it's so great to be able to look at somebody in their eyes, and maybe they've never ever heard, I believe in you, I love you. And for me to get there and hug them and say, I love you. And that is so cool. It's just so cool.
That's awesome. And it's got to be so fulfilling and rewarding just to be a part of it.
Oh yeah. Like my relationship with God has just exploded in the last year. And ultimately, that's where I wanted to be. That's what I was missing in my life. And I kept always thinking in the last 5 years, like my husband, Brad, he can attest to this. I would tell him, I am so much more than an internet manager.
Yeah.
I'm missing something. What am I missing? And I found it. And it's once you figure out what you're passionate about and what you can do to help people in your community, it is so amazing. It really is. It not only feels good, but to know that you are making a difference in somebody's life, that's what it's about. It's all about helping people, loving people.
And it doesn't have to cost you anything but your time.
Exactly. And I'm going on my first mission trip next month.
Where are you going?
To St. Cloud, Minnesota.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yes, for the Mike Silva International. So we will be actually going there, and we will be doing the motel outreach. We'll be going into strip clubs because I'm in strip clubs on Thursday nights, and I minister to the girls and bring them gifts. And so we'll do that there in St. Cloud, Minnesota, and I mean we'll do it all. And so I'm so excited.
I'm just so proud of you. I am proud to even know you. I am so ecstatic that Brad introduced us a couple of years ago at Digital Dealer. Courtney, I think that you're an amazing human, and I'm super excited to see the rest of your journey and all of the other amazing things that you're going to be doing.
I can't wait to connect you with more people that I know that aren't doing this, that I know would if they knew this was like a thing, and just kind of, maybe need that guidance.
Absolutely.
And definitely would, just need that first step, or even just that, hey, this is somebody who's doing it, and, here's her story, because you're a guiding light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you know of anybody you want to get involved, you just don't know how or where to start, send me a message. I would love to help you. We can research it and and figure out what's going to be best. So back in 2020, I did if you're a manager here, you have to go through a program. It's called Leadership of Amarillo and Canyon. And so once a month, you actually go to all these nonprofits here in Amarillo and Canyon, and you get to learn about them. And after going through this, I mean, that's when I was like, okay, this is it. Amarillo is amazing. It needs to be cleaned up and it needs help. Where do I start?
That's awesome. I love that. So we know the amazing personal benefits that you're getting from this and all the amazing things that you're doing in your community. But what's the, let me try to think of the right way to phrase this. But what are dealerships missing by not getting out in their community?
Oh gosh. Well, one thing is that name. And if you don't get out in your community and show that you actually care, then, I mean, I hate saying this, but why should they buy from you? If you're not making a difference and you're not, having your employees go out and about and showing your community that you've got their back, you're there to help, then you're going to lose sales from that. We get leads. We'll go to it's called Sod Poodles. So Sod Poodles game that Street Toyota, they put their logo on. They sponsor all this. Can't tell you how many people will come up and they're like, "Hey, I'm looking for a car. Can you help me?" Absolutely. There's a lead. Right. So when I get back to work, I contact them and say, "Hey, this is what I've got. Are you interested in this?" Get them in and they sell. That's a sold by having our name up in that stadium.
Right. I love that.
It's the ultimate brand awareness, top of mind awareness. And it's I don't want to say crappy thing because it's not crappy, but there's a tough side of it because at the end of the day, you do still have to consider business while doing the thing that is good. And, yes. And you are still, while you do want to do what's good and you're invested in helping people, there is a business aspect to it as well. Mm-hmm. And how can I do this if I'm going to do this? If I'm giving away, T-shirts or whatever, if I'm giving away water bottles, can I slap a logo on there and get some brand awareness out of it? Like, what's it going to hurt? It's not going to, cost the person anything. It's not going to hurt them at all. But if I can do this and help the business as well.
Well, and I think too, we've learned from, as we talk about a lot, Roper Kia here in town, mm-hmm. is that a lot of dealerships, they do get out in their community. They do a lot of mission work, but a lot of times they won't post it either. Yes. And the reason being is because they don't feel like it's the right thing to do to publicly post a act of kindness. And although I don't disagree with that statement, at the same time, from a business perspective, you are a leader in the community, whether you know it or not. And so whenever you are posting those things to your social networks, you are getting the word out there that you are doing this thing and other people can too.
And should too.
And should, yeah.
Our friends here at Roper Kia, for years, and Robin and I have done it as well. Back when we both worked there, this is how long they've been doing it. Every month that has a fifth Friday, on that fifth Friday, they go and make breakfast for the unhomed people at Watered Gardens, which is a local unhomed shelter, I think is what they're called now. And we would go and make breakfast for them. We would bring in all of the supplies that were needed. Eggs, bread, orange juice, whatever, at like 5 o'clock in the morning. And so we would stand there, we would make all this breakfast for them, we would have fun. We would laugh and joke. And it was fun for us, honestly. Like, it wasn't a chore. It wasn't mm-hmm. a headache. Like, and you'd think it would, like, you got to get up so early in the freaking morning, because right after that, you got to go to the dealership. But no, it was fun, because then afterwards, when you're serving these people and then you get to go and sit and eat with them and learn their stories. How did you end up here? What are you doing to get reintegrated back into your community, to find a job, to find a new home, all of these things. You get to learn more about what's going on in your local community and what you can do to help more.
Absolutely. And I also think that it's about how you post it on social media.
Yep.
That can really change the way that people think about it. If you just post like, oh, we got $100,000 and we're bragging about how much we gave them, maybe that is going to turn a lot of people off. But if you just have the pictures of your employees going out there, just like what you said, and going out there and showing that they are making a difference, then that's okay to post. I created a Why Buy From Us with Honest Digital, and it's Why Buy From Us on our homepage banner. And you can click on that and you can see all of our pictures that we're involved in the community and everybody that we sponsored.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. I love that.
Yes. Yeah. It took us about 7 months to make.
I bet.
I'm
sure it took a long time.
You guys are a big store.
Yes.
And Amarillo is a big city that I imagine you guys get involved in a lot of projects and the different staff and different departments. That would be massive. I can imagine.
Yep. But once they see, like, there's 170 employees here. And so there's times where if they're doing a community involvement, we're doing like a I don't know, a golf thing, everybody wants to take the day off and go play golf. But then when you go and you go feed the homeless or something, you won't have anybody that will go and sign up for that. And so, but once you come back to work and you're like, that was so much fun, you sit there and you brag about it, then all of a sudden you're going to have more people next time, and then more people next time.
Yeah.
So
that's it's interesting when it seems like fun, they'll do it, but if it seems like a chore, they won't. Which just like, I mean, it's just like kids. Like,
that's all it is.
Yeah, it's kids. They're just large children. What would you say? Getting a little bit off topic here, but speaking of all of the fun things that you guys do get to do in Amarillo, what would you say you love most about living in Amarillo and getting to be a part of the community in Amarillo, outside of the dealership, you and Brad, you as an individual, not just a member of the dealership?
Ooh, that's kind of a tough question. But I'm going to say, I love my family at No Boundaries International. I've been there for a year, and they are my family. And so that's how ultimately I got involved. Actually, do you guys have time for a quick story?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So it was a few months ago. I actually was going to speak at DSES, and I told them, I said, I want to speak and I want to do for the top idea. If I win that and I win money, the dealership, can you please match that, and let's buy us a car, because we're having to use my personal vehicle to go drive everywhere. And I'm putting in all these miles and I'm leasing. And yeah. So anyway, next day, my GM calls me and he says, hey, there's a gentleman here. He doesn't want to trade his vehicle in. He doesn't want to sell it. He wants to donate it to a nonprofit. Do you know of a nonprofit? And I'm like, I can't even speak. I'm like, and he's like, Courtney, do you know of one? And I'm like, yes. Are you kidding me? Is this a joke right now? And so he was like, okay, call your director at No Boundaries and see if they're interested. I'm like, oh yeah, I probably should before I just say yes. But okay.
I got the car.
Yeah, I got us a car. And it was just, you wouldn't talk about crying at the dealership. But it was truly phenomenal. And so I think that also impacted, and that customer that donated the vehicle to us, he never would have found out about No Boundaries if he didn't come up here and buy a vehicle from us. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So how did he find out about it when he came and purchased? Was it, you guys have banners or?
Nope. So he came in and just said, I want to donate this vehicle. I don't want to trade it in or sell it. I'm buying this other vehicle.
Okay.
He said, do you guys know of a nonprofit? And then so my GM knew that I was doing this and we needed a vehicle because the day before I just asked him about it. And yeah, so then the customer showed up with the vehicle and the back full of clothes.
That's amazing.
And a check for $500. You best believe I was out in the showroom, ugly crying.
Oh, yeah.
I bet.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And I'm like, this random guy, I'm like, can I hug you? Can I just hug you right now?
That is so fun. I love that story so much.
That is 100%
powerful.
intervention,
Yep.
like divine intervention, 1000%. That, I mean, undeniably.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So
It was so cool.
Do they still have that vehicle?
Yes.
That's a good question.
Yes. We use it to go do motel outreach and we use it to go to the strip clubs. So that way my personal vehicle isn't at the strip clubs.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
that could be you. Hey,
So-
I was just driving by the strip club and I saw your car there. Is there something you want to tell me?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like, yeah, I was at the strip club. What of it?
Oh, that's such an amazing story.
Yeah. So if you can get involved in your community, because that's all what it's about. We're here to help people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
Well, and I think that Shasta said yesterday, Monday whenever we were on our call, Courtney, I don't think that people realize that these are our neighbors. These are the people that live across the street. These are the kids that go to school with our kids. These are our kids' friends, our kids' friends' parents that need help. And we have the ability to help them by just donating our time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. And I love it. My husband gets to come with me every so often, and he loves it. And so that's fun for us to be able to do together.
Yeah, that's really awesome bonding time, and getting to do that with your husband is amazing.
Yeah.
I love that so much. Well, Courtney, thank you so much for coming on the show today. We have
you,
thoroughly
guys.
enjoyed you being here and hearing everything that you have to say and everything that you have to offer. You are an absolutely remarkable human, and we are so blessed to call you a friend of ours.
Thank you.
So
Will you be at any conferences through the rest of the year?
Oh, yes. I will be at Driving Sales in September. I'm actually speaking with Fred, and we're talking about how to keep your employees engaged and pumped up. And then I'm speaking at Digital Dealer with Parker Evanson, and we are going to talk about getting how your community involvement in SEO can get you leads and sales.
Nice.
Awesome.
Those are both be great sessions.
Yeah, that's super exciting. We will also be at Digital Dealer, so we will make
Yay
hop into your session when we're there. So
yes,
that's awesome. Well, where can people reach you if they have any questions about whether it be No Boundaries or the Internet Sales Department? Where can people reach you at?
Oh, they can email me. They can text me. Do you want me to give you my phone number?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, my phone number is 806-640-8215.
What's your email?
CPASCHAL@street-toyota.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Courtney. And I have looks like Robin did as well. Robin put your phone number, and I put your phone number and email in the comments.
Thank you, Robin.
So you guys have everything that you need to reach Courtney. And without further ado, guys, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. So in a world where you can be anything, remember to be kind. So whenever you go out into the world this week, remember to light it up. We have been the Chicks in Charge, and I am Jess.
I'm Shasta.
And we hope that
I'm Courtney.
Light it up this week. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and have a great rest of your week.
Thank you. Bye.
And
I did.
Scroll down.